This Fleet Equipment Unscripted interview is presented by Hendrickson, a leading manufacturer of heavy-duty suspension systems and components to the global commercial transportation industry. Visit hendrickson-intl.com to learn more.
Hi, everyone. I am Jason Morgan, Content Director for Fleet Equipment, and welcome to Fleet Equipment Unscripted. Today, we're talking with Mike Keus, Vice President, Asset Maintenance, Trimble Transportation. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Good. I appreciate you taking the time to join here. We're going to be talking about connected maintenance. And I have to say, kind of as a whole, for the category as a whole, I feel like it's been relatively quiet this year. We had a lot of talk about predictive maintenance, prescriptive maintenance, and all that. So I'm happy to connect here to kind of get a lay of the land a little bit in terms of connected maintenance solutions. As a starting point, I mean, one of the last events kind of that we were all at here pre-pandemic, Trimble made the announcement of TNT and Decisive integration. You brought a lot of connected service locations together, a lot of service data information together. What have been the big things that you've seen since then? What's the big thing right now in connected maintenance as you're working with a lot of these connected service locations, getting all this service data under one roof, so to speak?
So, what we're finding it's a pretty big endeavor to look at it. You mentioned, analytics and prognostics and a lot of the other items associated to really creating additional value to the fleets. We're finding that is an interesting challenge when a lot of the fleet's maintenance systems are perpetual based on-premise systems. The value for analytics really comes from looking at the data at a macro point level and at an industry level. So
Right.
that really spawned the need and desire to look at more of a connected maintenance strategy from an industry perspective. Trimble Transportation has been driving this connected supply chain concept for which connected maintenance fits into that connected supply chain. So our first step in really managing the benefits of a connected supply chain and our connected maintenance strategy is really looking at adoption to bring customers over to our Trimble platform. So we have a large initiative to move customers over to a SaaS platform. We offer a pretty strong promotion. We've probably, in the last year and a half, we've probably quadrupled the size of our SaaS customer base to where we're about 30% of our entire customer base is now within our SaaS or hosted platforms, which allows us to be able to look at the data more holistically, to be able to provide better analytics, predictive analytics, and allowing us to work with OEMs and their data scientists to really drive better outcomes for the fleets. So that's really been a large focus during this pandemic, is to really draw customers in to see the value for that. In tandem with that, we've also worked very hard in creating a industry platform called TTC, Trimble Transportation Cloud, for which we're migrating a lot of our services within our maintenance application over to that platform, allowing us to essentially build once and use many.
Right.
We build, so, moving away from the point-to-point integrations to be able to build a repair request API for which we have that partnership with Decisive. Not only are we able to work with Decisive, but using that API, we can bring in other competition if we wanted to. It's an open API. We can bring in partners, other channels, right? Other systems, ultimately to where we create value for the fleets to provide the most cost-effective over-the-road repair maintenance workflow possible. So we've been working in the last couple of years really on the infrastructure required to start running with our connected maintenance strategy. And now we've completed the platform build. We're well into our migration of premise customers over to SaaS, and we are currently beefed up our development and product organizations to start building out a lot of the connected maintenance features and functionalities that will go into the transportation cloud as microservices.
Right. So just to kind of back up with some groundwork too, because we talk a lot about these different things, the jargony things, but the SaaS software as a service, right, versus on-premise. So if I'm a fleet and I have my own maintenance software and solution, if it's just sitting there on my computers or in my data center there that I have, it's not really. The difference is that if I come onto a software as a service platform, that data, to your point, can go to a cloud service or go to a larger set of data where it's still my data. I still have control over it. I know Trimble Transportation has really strong feelings in that, and really strong security
Absolutely.
options there. But then you all get to see this like bird's eye hawk view of a lot of service stuff going on. So you're able, I'm guessing you're able to then tell me to work your algorithm magic, right? And tell me, here's where your macro focus should be, right? This is where you can make the biggest impact as a maintenance kind of manager, while the software is doing, TMT and all that software stuff is walking you through the nitty-gritty repair stuff.
Taking, for example, a simple part failure, call it an alternator.
Right.
Looking at one fleet's high variability on from a predictive analytics standpoint of when that is going to fail based on the data that you can gather. Now imagine if you take Trimble Transportation's 3,000 customers, right? And the millions of units and tractors that we serve, then you look at that repair history, working with the original equipment manufacturer, right? To define an algorithm that now says with a 98% level of confidence, I know when that's going to fail, and I will, working together because of Trimble's footprint, working together with Trimble and working together with the OEM, I'm willing to work with you to certify an algorithm that says we'll actually warranty and replace that alternator before it fails, right? Avoiding a breakdown situation.
Right. Well, and to your point there, the point about connectivity and integration, you mentioned the OEM. I would be playing the role of the fleet. You're getting my data, right? You're the solutions provider that helps bring this all together. But we got service locations too, where my trucks are getting serviced, so I need that data pulled from them, right? So, how have you seen this landscape of connectivity change between all the individual partners you're working with, end user fleets, OEM supplying the equipment? I mean, are we all really pulling in the same direction here to work toward that predictive maintenance? How's that conversation going?
It's interesting. 2 years ago, when we really defined this and started running, there was lots of questions and I think a lack of confidence that this is really what the market and the fleets were really wanting.
Right.
There was limited cooperation because of the desire for data privacy. I think Trimble as a whole addressed that with their trust center and the fact that there is no piece of data, whether in our SaaS or whether going through our transportation cloud, that our fleet, in this case being yourself, you have the option to go in and decide what information you want to share and to whom. So you're in complete control of your data, no matter where it is. So that was sort of the first thing to really, help fleets and our customers understand. I think once we got past that and we started talking about, and we moved past the data privacy issues, we started looking at what value could we provide to the industry when we are able to actually pull this data together. And from that, we have had an enormous swell of support in our fleets, working with our partners within the service provider ecosystem, as well as in the partner ecosystem for additional value-added services. So if you're looking at a telematics or a TMS system, right, that can also provide you data information, location, what the load is, what the ETA for the load is, right? If you can do that and you have a warning event, if I'm integrated to a lot of those other systems as well, I can help to automate that process for the fleet to provide the best outcome possible to be able to reduce any downtime on that asset and maximize sort of driver satisfaction, because no driver likes to sit on the side of the road losing money waiting for a tow, or even worse, when they do get to a service provider location, they didn't have the data and information to understand that, oh my God, they didn't have that alternator. Now we've got to sit for 2 or 3 days. Now, if someone pick up my load, I lose that, and now I'm sitting losing money.
Right, right. Well, and to your point, and I gotta say, I think this is a question I ask everybody that I talk to that touches technology in the trucking world in any real regard, because I think even in my own work and writing a lot about it, I've kind of come to find even in the past year that there's this feeling, and this is just kind of my own personal view, that I mean the technology is really kind of outpacing people's ability to kind of keep up with what it can do, right? The technologies work. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. The most complicated part is getting people to use it and value it. So going back to the basic, okay, switching from an on-prem solution to software as a service. What recommendations do you have for fleets that need to talk to internal and external partners and have them understand the value of it in real terms without going too far down the technical data stuff that everybody gets lost in, you know?
Well, the approach that we've taken is really to leverage the customers we have and that we've talked to. So much credibility comes with our customer base. We have great relationships with our customers. Our footprint. We're pretty fortunate to have so many of the large customers out in the industry. They're our best champions. And when we are speaking to customers who have questions and concerns and inquiry, we don't try to solve that for them. We try to guide them to the customers who are great partners with us and help them tell them sort of the pros and the cons and the benefits and maybe any potential shortcomings,
Right.
Based on their need, right? We have customers we've had for 35 years. Some of those customers have pretty embedded back-end integrations that would make it somewhat of a challenging leap to move over to a SaaS environment. However, that does not negate them from moving over to potentially a hosted environment where we can still offer the same level of connected maintenance capabilities in that respect. So we've sort of built the system to be able to address sort of each of the needs of our customers without ever walking away from our customers that want to remain on premise for whatever reason. The way we're building our microservices is in a manner that we can build those services in the cloud, but they speak directly to our on-prem systems. So customers who wish to retain those on-prem solutions for either security or whatever reasons, they have that capability. So all the new features we build today, you don't have to come over to be able to enjoy the benefits of those.
Right, right. No, for sure. And I mean, your point about the relationships, I mean, it's just so funny how, I don't, in terms of technology adoption or anything, and I don't think, at least in talking to fleets, they understand the power of it, the value of it. The one thing is just the cost, and that is just business as business is, and they got to figure that out. But then the flip side, I mean, it just quickly comes to, okay, how does this work for me? You know what I mean? It's no longer how much data can I get or how much this or that. It's what can I actually do with it? And your point about your situation of being able to provide solutions for whatever fits your problem. You got a problem, we're going to find a solution that fits for you. So still leaning and developing those relationships. It's fun to see how that's still very key in the industry, and it's not just a plug and play technology thing that people don't they just walk away from or don't support.
Yeah, we're not a B2C business, we're a B2B business, and relationships are absolutely critical, and our ability to deliver for those relationships maintain our level of credibility and constance with those customers, for sure.
Right. For sure. Mike, this has been wonderful. I have appreciated you taking the time to connect. I've learned a ton. I'm sure I will talk to you again very soon.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.